My name is Alex, and if you're scrolling through Reddit looking for one of those family drama stories that spirals into sweet, poetic justice, buckle up. This one's got it all. A smug sibling, holiday heartbreak, and a grandpa who turns out to be the ultimate plot twist. It all started in our small hometown of Willow Creek, where family ties were supposed to be unbreakable. But as I learned the hard way, some ties are just waiting for the right tug to snap. Growing up, I was a quiet kid in a loud family. My parents, Karen and Tom, adopted me when I was 3 after my biological mom passed away in a car accident. They already had Emily, my older sister by 5 years, who was their biological daughter. From the outside, we looked like the perfect unit. Picnics in the park, matching Christmas pajamas, the works. But Emily always had this undercurrent of resentment toward me. She'd make snide comments like, "Mom and Dad had to settle for you after me," or roll her eyes when I got the same allowance she did. I brushed it off as sibling rivalry, figuring we'd outgrow it. Fast forward to adulthood. I chose a modest path, a steady job as a high school teacher, a cozy 2-bedroom house on the outskirts of town, and a beat-up Honda that got me from A to B. I wasn't chasing the big bucks. I found joy in coaching the debate team after school and tending my vegetable garden on weekends. My wife, Sarah, and I were content with our simple life. No flashy vacations, just board games and homemade dinners. We saved what we could, donated to local charities, and felt rich in the ways that mattered. Emily, on the other hand, was the golden child who struck gold. She climbed the corporate ladder in the city, landing a high-powered marketing exec gig that came with a 6-figure salary, a sleek condo overlooking the skyline, and a fiancé named Brad who looked like he stepped out of a cologne ad. She drove a Tesla, vacationed in Bali, and posted her blessed life on Instagram like it was her full-time job. But beneath the filters, Emily was as shallow as a kiddie pool. She'd visit home and critique everything. Mom's outdated kitchen, Dad's lazy retirement hobbies, and especially my pathetic existence. "Alex, when are you going to stop playing house and get a real career?" she'd say with that fake sympathetic smile. I'd laugh it off, but it stung. The real trouble brewed last year as Christmas approached. Our family tradition was a big gathering at Grandpa Harold's sprawling estate on the hill. Grandpa was a family patriarch, a self-made millionaire from real estate deals back in the 80s. He was gruff but fair, with a twinkle in his eye that hinted at secrets. At 85, he still hosted the annual holiday bash, complete with a towering tree, eggnog fountains, and enough gifts to make Santa jealous. This year, Emily took charge of planning, insisting it was time to elevate the event. She sent out group texts about dress codes, black tie optional, for family dinner, and a catered menu that screamed excess. I was excited, honestly. Sarah and I had scrimped to buy thoughtful gifts, a handmade quilt for Mom, a restored vintage toolbox for Dad, and for Emily, a custom necklace with her birthstone. But a week before Christmas, Emily called me. Her voice was dripping with that condescending tone I knew too well. "Alex, listen about the party. We've been talking, and we think it's best if you and Sarah sit this one out." I froze, phone pressed to my ear. "What? Why?" She laughed, a sharp, mocking bark that echoed through the line. "Oh, come on. Look at your life. That tiny house, your teacher's salary, driving that rust bucket. You're not exactly keeping up, are you? Grandpa's place is for celebrating success, not whatever you're doing. And honestly, we only need real family there. You know, blood ties. It's nothing personal. It's just about the vibe. Real family." The words hit like a gut punch. I'd always known I was adopted, but my parents had never made me feel like an outsider. Emily, though, she weaponized it. I mumbled something about understanding, hung up, and sat there in our living room, staring at the twinkling lights on our modest tree. Sarah found me like that, tears streaming down my face. "We're not going," I told her. "They don't want us." We spent Christmas Eve alone, eating takeout Chinese and watching old movies. It was quiet, peaceful even, but the hurt festered. I didn't tell Mom or Dad about Emily's call. I didn't want to ruin their holiday. Instead, I texted Grandpa a vague excuse about Sarah being under the weather. He replied with a simple, "Miss you, kid. Come by soon." Little did I know, That was a spark. Christmas Day exploded like a holiday grenade. From what I pieced together later from frantic family calls, Emily arrived at Grandpa's in her designer gown, Brad in tow, ready to dazzle. The house was packed with aunts, uncles, and cousins, all buzzing with festive cheer. But as dessert was served, some fancy creme brulee, Grandpa cleared his throat and asked everyone to gather in the study. He had an announcement. "Family," he began, his voice steady despite his age. "I've been thinking a lot about legacy lately, about who truly understands what matters." Emily preened, assuming this was her moment. After all, she'd been buttering him up for years, dropping hints about needing help with a down payment on a bigger place. But Grandpa continued. "Alex called me last night, told me everything." Gasps rippled through the room. I hadn't called him. Wait, what? Turns out Sarah, bless her fiery heart, had slipped away after I fell asleep and dialed Grandpa herself. She'd spilled the beans about Emily's exclusion, the mockery of our lifestyle, and that cruel real family jab. Grandpa's eyes narrowed on Emily. "You think money makes you family? You laugh at Alex for living modestly, but he's the one who's built a life of substance. He's taught kids, helped the community, and never once asked me for a dime. You, Emily, you've been eyeing my estate like a vulture since you could count." The room went silent. Grandpa pulled out a stack of papers, his will, freshly revised that very morning by his lawyer, who'd been summoned at dawn. "Effective immediately," he declared. "Emily and Brad are cut out. Everything, the house, the investments, the trusts, goes to Alex. And if anyone contests it, they get nothing." Emily's face crumpled. "But Grandpa, I'm your blood granddaughter. Alex is just adopted." Grandpa interrupted, his voice like thunder. "Family isn't blood, girl. It's loyalty, kindness, and heart. Alex has been more family to me than you've ever been. You excluded him? Well, now you're excluded." Chaos ensued. Emily screamed, accused me of scheming, even though I was miles away, oblivious. Brad tried to play peacemaker, but ended up storming out when Grandpa called him a gold-digging pretty boy. Mom and Dad were stunned, begging Grandpa to reconsider, but he was adamant. "She needs to learn," he said, "and Alex deserves this." Inheritance. By New Year's, the fallout was nuclear. Emily's perfect life unraveled. Without Grandpa's subtle financial backing, she'd been dipping into a family fund for her lavish lifestyle. Her debts piled up. The condo? Foreclosed after missed payments. The job? She got fired when her boss discovered she'd been fudging expense reports to fund her extravagance. Brad? Dumped her faster than a bad investment, citing irreconcilable differences. Code for "you're broke now." She called me sobbing, begging for forgiveness. "Alex, please talk to Grandpa." I didn't mean it. "We're family." I paused, letting the irony sink in. "Real family." I asked quietly. She went silent. I hung up. Grandpa transferred everything to me quietly. Sarah and I didn't change much. We upgraded the Honda, donated a chunk to the school, and turned part of the estate into a community center. Emily? Last I heard, she's crashing on a friend's couch, working a retail job, and posting cryptic memes about karma on social media. Grandpa? He's living with us now, regaling the debate team with stories of his glory days. Looking back, that Christmas exclusion was the best gift Emily ever gave me. It exposed the rot in our family tree and let Grandpa prune it just right. If you're reading this, sis, remember, modesty isn't weakness. It's the foundation that holds when everything else crumbles. And to Reddit, thanks for listening. Sometimes the best revenge is served cold with a side of inheritance.